Organization management is one of the building blocks of Interact HRMS. It is the core piece that you need to define the structure of your organization, and that allows you to then build on top of that. Organization management connects to pretty much all the other modules, and it is designed to support a very sophisticated organization structure, and it can go as far and as deep as you want it to. We won't go into detail right now, but it's also important to know that Interact HRMS is an enterprise system, so you can define multiple employers, multiple independent companies. Each one could be set up with a separate database altogether, physically a separate database, or you can have a single enterprise with multiple employers all in one single database. Now, within a single employer, you can distinguish groups and even companies based on organization structure and employee groups. These employee groups will then function as virtual employers. Alternatively, if you have a straightforward business, a single company that has departments and divisions and maybe different locations, you will work with a single employer, and then you will set up your structure with the organization structure to start with. The building blocks that form the foundation of Interact HRMS are the organization structure, the employee groups, and the jobs, and based on that you can start placing employees in the organization. Now, my organization structure means that we can set up any number of organization units. These units can have an ID. There is no limit to the number of reporting levels. So right now I am looking at administrative services, which reports to the office of the CEO, which means that is level 2, because level 1 is the office of the CEO. Beyond that, you can have an unending number of units that will report to level 2. You can classify these units based on a type, based on a work unit type, based on a group, or based on some other classification. You notice those are already 1, 2, 3, 4 types of classification, and you could have more. Now, why do we have classifications in here? It is in order to allow you to do your reporting based on these classifications. And you may also set up certain policies and run certain processes for particular groups of organization units. All right? An organization unit could even be a project or an activity, in which case you will have a start date and an end date for a project, a planned end date and an actual end date. But it could also be a simple, straightforward department. Now, all of these things are important. The organization structure is important for defining how the workflow is going to work in the system. So the system needs to know where you belong and who needs to approve your requests as an employee. Therefore, we need to know what department you fall in. It is also required for costing if you're going to run payroll in our system, because then the cost centers will be linked to these organization units, or will be part of the organization structure at least, so we know where to allocate your cost as an employee. And again, that includes supporting project-based costing and down to the activity level. And third, it is required, as I mentioned, for reporting purposes, so that you can run reports by a specific organization unit. It is also used when you're running payroll, for example, to select and run the payroll for a specific pay group, but also for a specific organization unit if you wanted to. Now, if you have a straightforward company with a single address, it's very simple. All of the organization units will have the same address. If you have multiple locations, then you will be able to define any number of locations and addresses for each unit. Now, there will be a main contact person. There will be user password and ID that will allow you to log in on behalf of the unit. And then we can define whether we want this unit to show in the organization chart, whether you will use position budgeting, and so on. The reporting structure is very sophisticated. It means that you can set up this particular unit of administrative services. It can be set to report to the office of the CEO in my case, but you could set up other reporting lines, what we call functional reporting lines. You might say that administrative services functionally needs to report to the finance department, in which case we will call this a functional reporting line. Now, these reporting lines are in fact user defined. You can use whatever terminology you want. You can have 1, 2, or 3 reporting lines. If you need it more, we can support that too. You can have an effective date for this reporting line, and in my case, I have a US date format activated right now. Of course, we support international date formats too. We have the ability to choose a manager or supervisor for this particular reporting role. And we can choose a scope of authority, which can be functional or it could be related to other items. Now, once I save this, it means my organization chart will automatically be updated. So basically what I'm showing you is that not only do we have the ability to have any number of departments and units and reporting levels and a number of units, we also have the ability to have multiple reporting lines. The result of that will be that you have an org chart that is generated on the fly based on your organization structure that you define in the system, and that can go down as far as it needs to. And then you can also run these org charts based on the different types of reporting line. For example, this is my administrative reporting line, but I also have a functional reporting line. Let me take a look at the chart for that reporting line. So here you see a totally different reporting line. There are only a few items showing here. One of them is that we have Shelley, who works on a very special project that reports into HR, and HR reports to the office of the CEO. This is a functional reporting line that is different from the administrative reporting line that I was just showing, but it's for the same company. It is simultaneously set up so you can have basically a dotted line and a straight line. We can present this in different ways, of course. Your specific organization units can be governed by position budgets. This will be the subject of another presentation, but it is important to understand that you can turn on or turn off the position budgeting and control by unit. You can see the list of employees associated with this unit. You can see the number of jobs and positions that are active in this particular unit. You can see performance goals and strategic goals that have been defined at the unit level. And we have a very powerful risk management solution which allows me to track risks at the unit level. Again, the organization structure, the organization management is a foundation module that is linked to pretty much every other module in the system, because when you hire people, when you run payroll, when you run reports, whatever it is that you do, the system always has to go and check where do these people belong, who approves their timesheets or their payroll, or who does the performance appraisals. All of it is linked to my organization structure, so it's very important. We can import this organization structure quickly. We just need it in a CSV or Excel format and load it into the system. And from there on out, you will have a standard structure. Of course, you can create any new unit you require on the fly. It's very simple to modify the structure. This organization management also supports the merging of organization units. It's pretty simple. If you wanted to merge a unit, you can choose and say, I want to put my accounts payable and accounts receivable departments together from now on. And we can see as of April 1st, we are going to include the accounts receivable department or any other department that you wanted to include. You see it shows me the number of employees that are in there. The reason is rationalization. There's a board resolution number and it's been approved on a specific date. And then I will add the merger process. So now the organization merge request has been added successfully, and all I need to do is approve it and the job will be done. In a similar way, we could split organization units. Now, just like we have an organization reporting structure, we also have an employee reporting structure which fits within that organization. So the product allows you to set up a lot of different reporting lines. So the logic is the same, whereby your employees can report to multiple supervisors based on the different reporting lines that you have. I will also show you briefly that you can have a single employee organization transfer. So different from a merge of organizations, you can actually transfer employees from one to another organization. Of course, this is part of the standard process that we have under contracting and hiring. But you also have what we call a mass employee transfer. So there you will be able to transfer a group of employees. Let's say I want to transfer as of April 1st from the administrative services. My system is going to load the employees that we have there, and I want to select these people only. Of course, if you are in a construction or a contracting business where you're dealing with lots of people, it'll be useful to be able to select all of them, or unselect, or filter, and do whatever you need to do. And I want to transfer these people to accounts receivable. And these are the existing employees in accounts receivable. All I need to do is save this request. Now the transfer has been successfully added. Now there's one more step to be done, which is to approve it and then to post it. That means two steps really, which is the final posting. And then the job is done. You will see that these 5 people will now be moved and be included as part of accounts receivable. A record, they will still keep a record under administrative services for historical purposes, but it shows that their transfer status is now showing as transferred. This is how simple the organization management is. So it allows you to set up your structure the way you want it. It'll help you with workflow, with reporting, and with costing, where in case you're running payroll. And it also, of course, is easy enough to manage transfers and to handle changes in structure if there's a need for that.